Hi everyone, and welcome to Patrick's Scale Studio. My name's Patrick. I'll be your host. Just got this delivered today. I actually ran out of my front door to meet the UPS man halfway up my driveway. I pre-ordered this back in December, and it is finally here. I am so excited about this. I was looking for another smaller 1/200 ship to accompany my USS Curtis Wilbur, and this will fit the bill beautifully. If I understand correctly, Trumpeter is also going to be coming out with the Sullivans and another one I cannot remember the name of it, but it'll come to me eventually. But yeah, this is the first in I guess a series of Fletcher class destroyers that they're going to be releasing in 1/200 scale. So, yep, as I said, USS Fletcher DD 445 in 1/200 scale by Trumpeter. The box says that there are 490 plus pieces. Length is 573.8 millimeters. For us Americans that are in inches and feet still, that equates to roughly 22.5 inches, I believe. So, quick look around the box. We've got some computer-aided design images here, CAD images here of the ship. We've got a quick little schematic there of the photo-etch included and the decals. And if you wish to pause this video right here, you should be able to read over this. The ends of the box are pretty much just this. I'm going to flip it over here and have a look at two different paint schemes here. I'll probably be aiming for this one because this looks a little challenging and looks interesting. I'm so excited to open this up. I have not opened this up, so I would love to see what all is in this box. I actually pre-ordered. There is. All right, let's go ahead and slide this out of the way and have a look at the instructions. Now you're probably wondering, oh my gosh, why is he starting another kit? It's just because I have been dying to get this since December, so this is what I am so excited about. It's the painting and marking guide here. Got color callouts in Mr. Hobby, Acrisian, Vallejo, Model Master, Tamiya, and Humbrol. This looks like a lot of fun to paint. Here's the other side. A little less adventuresome as far as painting scheme goes. But yeah, this will make a fantastic project. Put this aside. Alrighty, and just a standard run-of-the-mill Trumpeter instructions. Nothing too earth-shattering there on that first page of the cover. And we get a nice parts layout. It doesn't look like it's going to be too gigantic of a kit to put together. In step one, looks like we are adding the main deck to the hull and adding the screws along with the shafts. Rudder. Now it looks like at this time we're also recommending putting down a large amount of decal on the main deck. Alright, page 4. So we're going to start building up some of these photo-etch assemblies and putting some of these various little items like reels here into spots on the deck. One thing I didn't catch here is there is no drilling. I'm just double checking here, but yeah, there's no drilling called out on this deck, so that also is kind of a departure from standard operating procedure for Trumpeter when they normally have you drill out a bunch of holes on a deck because they try to accommodate as many different ship numbers as they can based off of common set of parts. Alright, page 5. Still adding some deck equipment and putting together a bunch of tiny little items here. Looks like right here is kind of where they have a lot of that called out as far as where those items will go. Okay, just a bunch of more little items here encircling the ship. Alright, here's their anchors and anchor chain. Chain is included, however, it is not the standard U.S. naval chain where it has the crossbar on each link. So we'll probably see if I can source some or 3D print some. Just adding some more tiny little pieces here. And depth charge racks. I believe that's what these are here, is depth charges as well. I could be wrong, but I believe these go out the aft end of the ship and these go out to the sides. Right, here we're going to start working on the superstructure. Looks like we're going to be making 6 Oerlikon cannons here. Really cool thing about these is I have plenty of extra Oerlikons from the Ponto set from the USS Yorktown, because I won't be putting the Oerlikons on Yorktown in the time period that the ship was. It didn't have any, so I'll have plenty of extras that I can build out of Photo-etch in Pontos. So that'll be a nice addition. All right, looks like more superstructure here, and we've got some more decals going down. We're adding quite a bit of detail to this bottom part of the superstructure. More superstructure, more decals. Getting all this kind of built up. Like we are then putting that main chunk of that onto the main deck, and we will start in adding in some, looks like a crane and some ladders. More railings, more little pieces. This looks like it's just going to be a ton of fun. Ship's boats and the davits for those boats. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to do a little bit of research and kind of find out what all of the different little pieces are. Looks like we've got a anti-aircraft right there, anti-aircraft gun right there. Probably a dual 40mm Bofors, I think. Little life rafts. Alright, more superstructure, ship's bridge, searchlights, ladders, railings. Yeah, see, now we're going to start drilling a couple of holes, and it looks like that's just so they can include this circular bridge piece for several different ships. Alright, then we're going to start putting together radar and mast. Alright, torpedo racks, ship's funnel, more decals, more searchlights. Oh, sorry about the interruption there. The dog started going absolutely crazy because the Amazon delivery guy was dropping off some packages for my wife. Yeah, we're just about to get to 5-inch guns on this destroyer, 2 of this variety and 3 of this variety. And it looks like, as far as the differences are, there's just various subtle differences in the detailing that's going into the mounts. But it looks like they give you the option to either have the barrel set to any elevation you'd like, or a set elevation there with blast bags. Alright, here we're installing the bridge, and torpedo racks, some of those 5-inch guns, more 5-inch guns, the funnels, mast, radar. We've got a stand if you wish to use a stand. I'll probably go with my typical brass pedestals that I like using, and it looks like the remainder of the railing to go around on the main deck. So that's the instructions. Let's start pulling out some plastic. Okay, actually we will go with decals first. It seems like it's a very large part of getting everything put together, and this is a fairly comprehensive sheet of decals. Oh. Let's go ahead and flip it over so I can cut this tape. I will never, ever, ever accuse Trumpeter of being lax when it comes to packaging. Like making sure that their product has been appropriately and carefully packaged to ensure that nothing gets damaged. So these were at the very top of the box, just underneath the instruction booklet. Actually, maybe it was on top of the instruction booklet, in fact, too. So there was no weight or anything pushing down on these. And then they have this nice cover sheet that's taped, and that's inside the plastic. So, but it looks like you get 2 different style of walkway decals. I'll have to do a little bit of research to see which I'm using. Also, a little bit of research as to whether or not these are the correct style of numbers. But you take a look back and the very, on the top of the box, the numbers on the hull do not have this little shadowing underneath them. But, they do in the decal sheet, so we'll have to see what's what, or whether or not even it matters that much. All right, so let's go ahead and put this back. Wow, what a kit. Alright, we'll bring out this right here. Looks like they have got the hull and the deck in one bag. And very thoughtfully packaged with some foam tape. Make sure that they don't come apart. Come on. There we go. Okay, so let's look at these all separately. Looks like they've got the walkways raised up here. This is what a lot of the decals are going to be going down over top of. This detail looks fairly crisp. The molding looks pretty good. A lot of holes there. A lot of fittings. A lot of parts to go in. Let's see if we can catch some of this in the light. There we go. As you can see, some of that detail is incredibly fine. Put this to the side. We'll have a look at our Stevens. That was the their one I knew that they were working on, and is going to be released. That's what it says in the hull here, if you can make that out. There it is. and Stevens. But yeah, that's Fletcher, Stevens, and the Sullivans. So we've got some hole plating right here. I'm sure we're going to have some people that say it might be a little bit thick. That's okay. It's a wonderful thing about opinions. Everyone's entitled to their own. I think it'll look just fine under paint. And maybe it is a little bit thick technically, but again, I think it'll look good under paint. These look a little thick, but that's all right. You're not really... It's going to be in a cabinet, so I'm not going to let anyone pick it up and start toying around with it and saying, oh, that looks too thick. I'm just going to be looking at it from there, from that perspective right there, and so you won't be able to see how thick those are. Looks like we've got some molding seam lines we'll have to deal with. These aren't usually too bad on trumpeter holes, though. Get this cleaned up here. This will be fantastic. This will be fun. And it's a good sized. It's a good sized kit. It's a 1/200 is a nice scale that allows you to really add a lot of detail, but still have a on this ship. It's not a ship that is going to take up half of a wall in a room because it's so massive. Get this back around there and get it added to its bag. If you couldn't tell, I'm pretty excited about this. Let's have a look at some more plastic. All right. Looks like here we've got some superstructure pieces on sprue C. Looks like that right there is for the radar. 40 millimeter anti-aircraft, searchlights, funnel. That is incredible how thin this is. It's I mean, it's almost, I would venture it just as thin as brass sheet that people used to have used for scale thickness. This is so incredibly thin. It looks thicker from that perspective because there is a little top rail on this. But yeah, this molding is very crisp, very clean, flash free. Looks like we will have some ejector pin marks here on the bottom sides to clean up. But we'll probably just determine first whether or not it is something that will be visible to begin with. All right, put this aside. We have 2 sprues in here. Let's have a look. Ship's boats that have been slide molded, beautifully slide molded, I might add. So we've got the Orlikins, we've got some pressurized gas containers here, davits, 5-inch gun barrels. Looks like these are the ones that you can set your own elevation, or these are the ones with the blast bag that are going to be in a fixed elevation. Looks like those are slide molded as well with the barrels hollowed out. Some wraps here. Wow. Just again, see if we can catch some of this detail. If I can get the camera to focus. This looks incredible. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put this all back into its plastic bag and reach out for some more plastic. All right, so here is the next sprue. Again, thoughtfully packaged here for damage-free transportation. Excellent. And let's see why. That's why. We are protecting things important like the screws and the shafts, funnel parts. Maybe it'll focus a little bit better now. Rudder. Look at these hatches. That has better relief even than Photo-etch, in my opinion. Just seeing it might not get anyone to believe me here, but feeling this, actually being able to feel this in person, it's the relief on those hatches is incredible. It's like our nameplate here, if we choose to use this. 1200 U.S. Navy Destroyer DD 445 USS Fletcher. Yeah, I don't know if I've already said it, except a dozen times already. I am really excited about this. And I do plan on beginning a build of this immediately. Looks like that is the stand. Not really a lot to see there. I'm not even going to bother taking it out of its plastic. Another bag. Let's have a look. All right. Slide molding is such a wonderful thing. Just this one part here. Got all this detail right here on the face, and again, just wonderful relief that you can feel on that. Same thing with this piece here. Got ladder relief, hatch relief, hoses, the fire hose right there. And then there's even detail on top with a little bit of a raised lip here. A bunch of supremely tiny little parts right here. Again, these splinter shields here are incredibly thin. That is incredibly thin. I know it seems like I'm gushing about this kit. Turns out I am. All right. There we are. Bridge detail, and I like how this is properly angled, because you wouldn't put it like that. The deck of this ship goes upward in an angle like that. Just again, give you a good idea here of what the sides look like. Let's see if try to capture some of this in the light here. See this on the very edge? That kind of looks like ventilation grating. You can kind of see how some of the light reflects off of this part. It is fantastic. Even more over here. And again, more ventilation grate right there. You know, interestingly enough, I'm not really able to pinpoint. Maybe it's these right here, where these would have been attached to any kind of a sprue. Oh, it might be right here and right there, yeah. But that's incredible that they did it like that, so we don't have to worry about going in and cleaning up any nasty ejector pin marks on any exposed faces of this part. We don't have any sprue nibs or anything like that we have to clean up on any exposed faces of this part. Oops. It's top quality. And the same can be said for this piece I'm holding right now as well. So even on this platform that extends out on the bottom side here, you can see braces that they've got molded in. I can't say enough how exciting this is going to be to put together. All right, on to the next bag of parts. All right, let's go ahead and packaging is first class. That's even got a block of foam behind that, just to make sure these thin little parts don't get broken off. More superstructure here. I just kind of wrapping my head around this again, where that foam was, versus making this a separate part where we would have a seam line to deal with. I went ahead and molded it like that, and then thoughtful enough to put that piece of foam in there. Extra expense, just to make sure this does not get damaged. Gun tubs here, I think. I'm very impressed. Hopefully that's all showing up. Now, from what I've heard, I'm going to be just about blown away by something on this part. And that is the case. See these portholes? They are perfect circles all the way around this entire face. They're not turning oblong or into ovals from molding, so that is incredible. We'll put everything back in its packages when we're all finished up. Five-inch gun mounts. These are two alike. Again, every face is absolutely festooned with detail. And here are the other three. All right, that does it for the plastic. Let's have a look now at the Photo-etch. All right, there is the included chain. It's nice. It's metal chain. It's within scale. And so the only issue with this chain here is it does not have the cross member on each link. You are aware of U.S. naval chain. The links, normally chain links are like this. Well, with the naval chain links, there's a cross member on each link. It helps it from not getting tangled up. All right, looks like we've got some generic ship rail. No, not generic. It is labeled Fletcher ship railing here, but they all have the same part number, just one. They're all very large. Still very cool. You don't get this on every ship kit. Alright, and there we go again. 1200 Fletcher. Railings, ladders, shields for the Orlikins if you're going to build what's out of the kit. It's like some racks for the depth charges. Some of the radar pieces. All right. Well, I am very impressed. I will be looking to start a build on this as soon as I get my bench cleaned up. But that's it for the ship right now for the review. I really hope that I was able to point out some things, and if you were on the fence about getting the USS Fletcher and 1200 by Trumpeter, hopefully I've swayed you in the direction of getting one. The molding is incredible. The kit looks like it's going to be so much fun to put together, and it also doesn't appear like it's going to be one of those builds that takes years. I think this will go together even quicker than USS Curtis Wilbur. So until next time, please stay safe and happy modeling.